or various committees to work on fundraising, promotion, and financial projections. Seek changes to the county regulations regarding drop-off of recycling in rural farm forest areas. It just doesn't make sense to have people drive all the way up from Cape San Juan to drop off at a recycling center. We should be able to put a bin at different places on the island and make it efficient for the people picking up and for the people who live in the area. We'd have to obtain financial capital because to turn to a commercial processing situation rather than a small business situation, we'd have to have some improvements and expansion. We'd have to develop educational incentive programs that promote the proper ways to recycle. And we'd have to develop planned milestones, like when to have a glass crusher installed. And keeping in step with the growing recycling movement, CT Recycling has been modeling this process and working in conjunction with consignment treasurers. And it's been doing it in an economical and sustainable manner. And it could be expanded to be used for our community. And a co-op is an organization or business that is owned and democratically controlled by its members. And the profits are shared among the membership. So there's an example of Opalco, local co-op that everybody's familiar with, and across the pond we have the Skagit Valley Food Co-op. And those are two very large co-ops. And this picture just gives kind of an example of what a co-op, how it recycles stuff within itself and how it can be really helpful. So, and the purpose is, for a social or economic need for its members. CT Recycling hauled approximately 74 tons of recycling to the mainland in 2010, and that excluded items that we sold locally. There are significant motivations and philosophical beliefs underlying why people choose to use recycling, from a user who is just looking for a cheap place to dispose of something, to a nature advocate. And we are looking to create a sustainable facility that will combine for-profit business sense with public sector necessity. And countless people have been enjoying shopping at consignment treasurers, and that attitude has been moving on to CT Recycling. The co-op will be more financially feasible and sustainable than the current public works model. The public works model, has one worker doing the work and a whole bunch of people behind the scene adding to the cost of that worker. And that's just the way government operates, so there's not much you can do about that. And this is the CT Recycling model where one person is kind of doing it all. So that's what makes it more financially feasible and sustainable than the public works model. Consignment treasurers has 4 part-time employees. None of them are full-time. There's a couple of them that are almost full-time, but none of them 40 hours a week. And then it has 3 part-time volunteers. And some funds from the co-op will come from what it hauls off the island. We get $100 and something a ton for the cardboard. We get 6 or 7 cents a pound for the clothes that are bundled. And we get a couple $100 a ton for the steel. CT Recycling gets paid to haul items off the island, and Public Works pays to haul their items, their commingling recycling off island. And a co-op will be able to use volunteers. Here's a picture of Friday Harbor High School students earning dollars for scholars' hours at consignment treasurers. Actually, some of these students could be from some of the other schools. I don't know the students individually, but here's also one of our very faithful volunteers, been volunteering for several years. And this is the Dollars for Scholars clothes closet, where they get a nice monthly check every month from items that sell out of that. And this is near the end of the year when all the students have to get in their hours, so we ended up with a whole bunch all at once to get their hours in so they can get their scholarships. And grants for recycling are available from government and private sources. The Department of Ecology provides scholarship grants, and large companies provide grants, and then also private foundations fund and encourage recycling. So overhead costs, I mentioned, would be less than the public works model, and here I got this information from the county. So our lowest paid level person at the Public Works Department is about $36 an hour. And when I checked with Woodinville, their lowest level person is about $19 to $24 an hour. And that's the type, those jobs are the entry-level jobs I'm talking about getting are the ones $19 to $24 with their benefits. And the service would be better. The county site is open 3 days a week, and the vehicle lines are blocks long. Consignment Treasures is currently open 5 days a week, and it will at some point grow to 7 days a week. What's needed? We need boots in the ground conservation. This is the best way to achieve environmental stewardship because it is the shortest distance between those affected and those making the decisions. We need to save consumers money by having good service, reasonable costs, and we need to have drop-off places around the islands to collect and pick up recycling items. We wouldn't want to have open bins like we have at the Lions Club. We'd want to have bins that have closed tops and maybe looked a little better. In some places we might have to fence them or something or other for people to be able to accept them. We need to ship things in a reasonable manner, so we got to have them palletized. And we have to educate and model positive behaviors. Islanders are known for being environmentally conscious, independent, and thrifty. And like I said before, recycling locations are legally classified as essential public facilities, and they need to be treated that way, irregardless of what a couple of planning commission members want to say. The recycling co-op will, as I said before, create some entry-level jobs, provide convenient hours of service to the public, as well as more days of service. It will create additional income for some local contractors and suppliers who go off island with empty trucks. We will pay them to haul off our goods, and that way they'll have a full truck going over and a full truck coming back when they pick up their items. The community has asked the county many times to eliminate commingled recycling, and SWAC members have encouraged separated recycling, and the co-op model will simply implement what the county has asked for. And that in turn will lead to a higher use of a recycling facility and thereby promote additional economic viability. The more something is used, the more valuable it is to amortize the costs. And funds would be needed to establish the co-op in a commercial manner that it would be because it would be doing way more recycling than what is currently being done. In the business plan, I put down $85,000 to $150,000 to do this, and that's because of different types of equipment and because of some improvements that would need to be done to make this happen. A road, for example, this is Roach Harbor Road here, and a road would have to come in here, go around this building, and come back out because you'd want to have continuous traffic flow. Need to have some bins put along here for people to drop stuff in. You need to have a commercial compactor baler here. So, and then a concrete pad so the stuff could roll on it, and a little roof over it so the workers could stay dry and the rain doesn't fall on the recycling stuff and cause some pollution to go around. Here's some pictures of some, what might be some expensive items, different kinds of bins. That's a glass crusher, typical glass crusher. And there's a typical commercial baler for baling up stuff. Sources of anticipated funds. There would have to be some donations from individual community members to show buy-in from the community, because without buy-in, things just don't work. You have to have community support and buy-in. From future grant applications, from fundraisers as a way to gain community interest and actively involve the community. Co-op board could decide that they wanted to have yearly co-op fees or possible user fees. And all of these choices would be much less expensive than a tax increase or using the same failed model of the Public Works Department is currently using. So is the community interested in doing recycling in a sustainable manner through a cooperative process and in a for-profit business sense for the public sector necessity? Who in the community would be the best people to help make this happen? Every idea takes commitment to make it happen. Does this community have that level of commitment? Here's where we're at now. We have an idea. Here's where we go next. So we need to identify people in the community that have an interest in moving this forward, get them together, and see where we can go. And if you're interested in moving our community towards step 2, fill out one of the volunteer forms that we have and mail it in to us in box 1866.